The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is known for its lighthearted banter, celebrity interviews, and comedic sketches that keep audiences entertained night after night. On a recent episode, aired on August 11, 2025, the atmosphere took an unexpected turn when Pierce Brosnan, the iconic James Bond actor, appeared alongside his co-star Helen Mirren to promote their upcoming Netflix film, The Thursday Murder Club. The segment began innocently enough, with Jimmy Fallon, ever the enthusiastic host, showcasing his latest quirky idea, a homemade salsa recipe made from tomatoes he claimed to have grown in his garden. The ingredients are tomatoes, garlic, lime, onion, jalapeno plus minus cilantro, and a pinch of crunchy salsa were mixed live on air, setting the stage for what was supposed to be a fun, casual moment. Brosnan, known for his suave demeanor, and Mirren, celebrated for her wit, were expected to play along, taste the salsa, and share a laugh with the audience. However, as the segment progressed, it became clear that Brosnan was not in the mood for Fallon's signature brand of playful antics. The tension began to build when Fallon, with his characteristic grin, offered the salsa to his guests. Mirren dove in with gusto, praising the dip as fabulous and eating multiple bites, much to the delight of the audience. Brosnan, however, took a cautious nibble, and his reaction was immediate and visceral. His face contorted, and he began coughing, fanning his mouth, and reaching for water. "I don't do hot sauce or jalapeno plus minus sauce," he admitted, his voice strained but polite, as he tried to mask his discomfort. The crowd laughed, assuming it was all part of the show, but Brosnan's expression suggested otherwise. Fallon, perhaps sensing an opportunity for humor, leaned into the moment, joking about Brosnan's struggle with the spice. "You're choking, man," Fallon exclaimed, laughing as Mirren continued to eat, seemingly unfazed. Brosnan's smile tightened, and he responded with a curt, "I'm fine." "Really good." The exchange, while initially light, hinted at an underlying discomfort that would soon escalate. As the segment continued, Fallon's relentless teasing about Brosnan's reaction to the salsa began to wear on the actor. The host, known for his effusive energy, didn't seem to pick up on Brosnan's growing irritation. Instead, he doubled down, offering Brosnan another scoop of the fiery dip, which the actor declined with a forced chuckle. "No, I'm good, thanks," Brosnan said, his tone clipped. Mirren, ever the professional, tried to steer the conversation toward their film, discussing the chemistry of the cast and the intrigue of the murder mystery plot. But Fallon, perhaps caught up in the moment, kept circling back to the salsa incident, even mimicking Brosnan's coughing for laughs. The audience roared, but Brosnan's posture stiffened, and his responses grew shorter. What started as a playful bit was now teetering on the edge of awkwardness, with Brosnan visibly struggling to maintain his composure. The dynamic between the two men was becoming a focal point, and not in the way Fallon had intended. By the end of the segment, the tension was palpable, and viewers at home could sense that something was off. Brosnan, usually the epitome of charm, seemed to be holding back, his polite facade barely concealing his frustration. The Tonight Show is no stranger to unscripted moments, but this one felt different, less like a comedic bit and more like a genuine clash of personalities. As the cameras panned to the cheering audience, Brosnan's tight-lipped smile spoke volumes. The stage was set for what would later be described as a dramatic exit, though the details of what happened next would spark endless speculation among fans and media alike. The salsa incident, while seemingly trivial, appeared to be the catalyst for what unfolded next on The Tonight Show. As the interview shifted to a discussion about The Thursday Murder Club, a film directed by Chris Columbus and based on Richard Osman's best-selling novel, Brosnan and Mirren were expected to delve into their roles as retirees solving a real-life murder mystery. Mirren, with her characteristic poise, shared anecdotes about the film's ensemble cast, including Ben Kingsley and Celia Imrie, and her excitement for the project. She spoke passionately about her character, Elizabeth, and the unique appeal of a story centered on older characters tackling crime. Brosnan, however, seemed distracted, his responses brief and lacking the warmth he's known for in interviews. Fallon, perhaps unaware of the actor's mood, continued to push the salsa narrative, referencing Brosnan's reaction again and even suggesting a salsa rematch later in the show. The audience laughed, but Brosnan's expression darkened. "Let's move on, shall we?" he said, his voice carrying a sharpness that caught Fallon off guard. The host, known for his ability to pivot, tried to laugh it off, but the moment marked the turning point. Brosnan's patience was wearing thin, and the light-hearted tone of the interview was crumbling. Mirren, sensing the shift, attempted to keep things on track, sharing a humorous story about the film set, but the energy in the room was undeniably tense. Fallon, perhaps realizing he'd pushed too far, tried to pivot to a discussion about Brosnan's role in the Paramount Plus series Mobland, where he and Mirren play a wealthy power couple. But Brosnan's answers remained curt, and he seemed increasingly disengaged. The audience, initially unaware of the undercurrent, began to pick up on the awkwardness, with some later noting on social media that Brosnan appeared fed up. The salsa bit, while a hallmark of Fallon's playful style, had clearly struck a nerve, and Brosnan's discomfort was no longer just about the spice. Off-camera, during a commercial break, sources later reported that Brosnan had a heated exchange with the producer, though the specifics remained unclear. Some speculated that he felt the salsa segment was unprofessional or that Fallon's teasing had crossed the line. Others suggested that Brosnan, who has a reputation for being private, was simply not in the mood for the show's high-energy antics. Whatever the cause, the tension carried over into the next segment, where Brosnan's demeanor grew colder. By the time the cameras rolled again, the atmosphere was charged, and viewers at home could feel the unease through their screens. The Tonight Show thrives on its ability to create viral, feel-good moments, but this episode was veering into uncharted territory, with Brosnan's frustration threatening to overshadow the entire interview. As the show progressed, the dynamic between Fallon and Brosnan became increasingly strained. The host, known for his relentless positivity, seemed determined to salvage the segment by leaning into his usual repertoire of games and jokes. He introduced a light-hearted quiz about the Thursday Murder Club, asking Brosnan and Mirren to answer trivia questions about their characters. Mirren played along, her answers laced with humor and charm, but Brosnan's participation was minimal. He offered one-word responses or deflected questions back to Mirren, leaving Fallon scrambling to keep the energy up. At one point, Fallon made another reference to the salsa, saying, "Come on, Pierce, you've faced worse than a jalap 8+- as James Bond." The audience laughed, but Brosnan's reaction was icy. "I think we've exhausted that topic," he said, his tone firm and his smile gone. The studio fell silent for a split second before Fallon quickly moved on, his laughter sounding forced. The moment was a stark contrast to the show's usual vibe, and it left viewers wondering what had happened to sour Brosnan's mood. Speculation began to swirl online, with some fans suggesting that Brosnan, who has spoken in the past about his preference for serious roles, might have felt the salsa bit was beneath him. Others pointed to Fallon's tendency to dominate interviews with his own personality, which can sometimes overshadow his guests. Whatever the reason, Brosnan's frustration was now impossible to ignore, and it was clear he was no longer enjoying himself. Mirren, ever the diplomat, tried to diffuse the tension by sharing more about the film's plot and her excitement for its Netflix release on August 28, 2025, but even her efforts couldn't fully mask the awkwardness. The audience, sensing the discomfort, began to respond more tepidly, and social media posts from viewers started to flood in, with hashtags like #Brosnan vs Fallon trending on X. Some praised Brosnan for standing his ground, while others felt he was being overly sensitive. The segment ended abruptly, with Fallon rushing to a commercial break, promising more fun after the pause. Behind the scenes, reports later emerged that Brosnan had expressed his displeasure to the show's staff, though no official statement was released. The incident was shaping up to be one of the most talked-about moments in recent late-night TV history, with fans and critics alike dissecting every detail of the exchange. The breaking point came shortly after the commercial break, when Fallon returned with another attempt to lighten the mood. He introduced a new segment, a game called Celebrity Secrets, where guests reveal quirky or embarrassing facts about themselves. Mirren went first, sharing a charming story about her love for gardening, which tied back to Fallon's tomato-growing shtick. The audience responded warmly, but when it was Brosnan's turn, he hesitated. "I'm not sure I have anything to share," he said, his voice flat. Fallon, trying to keep things moving, prodded him with, "Come on, Pierce, give us something spicy," pun intended. The reference to the salsa incident was the final straw. Brosnan's face hardened, and he leaned forward, his voice low but cutting. "I think I've had enough of this," he said. The audience gasped, and Fallon's smile faltered. Before anyone could react, Brosnan stood, removed his microphone, and walked off the set, leaving Mirren and Fallon in stunned silence. The cameras quickly cut to a wide shot, and the house band, The Roots, began playing to fill the awkward pause. Fallon, visibly flustered, tried to laugh it off, saying, "Well, that's a first," while Mirren offered a sympathetic smile and attempted to steer the conversation back to their film. The moment was brief but electric, and it sent shockwaves through the studio and beyond. Social media erupted, with clips of Brosnan's exit going viral within minutes. Fans debated whether he was justified or had overreacted, while tabloids and entertainment sites ran headlines like "Pierce Brosnan storms off Jimmy Fallon's show." The incident was compared to other infamous talk show walkouts, though few could recall a moment quite as unexpected. Some speculated that Brosnan's reaction was fueled by personal stress or a dislike for Fallon's hosting style, while others believed he felt disrespected by the focus on the salsa bit over his work. The Tonight Show team later issued a statement downplaying the incident, claiming it was a misunderstanding and that Brosnan had returned to the green room after the segment. However, eyewitnesses in the audience claimed the mood backstage was tense, with Brosnan leaving the studio shortly after. The incident left viewers hungry for answers, and the lack of clarity only fueled the frenzy online. In the aftermath of Brosnan's dramatic exit, the media frenzy reached fever pitch. Entertainment outlets like People, Yahoo, and Tinseltown Tales ran detailed recaps of the episode, focusing on the salsa incident and Brosnan's reaction. Clips from the show, particularly the moment when Brosnan declared, "I don't do hot sauce or jalapeño tilde plus minus sauce," were shared widely, with some outlets humorously noting that even James Bond couldn't handle Fallon's salsa. Others took a more critical stance, questioning whether Fallon's insistence on revisiting the salsa bit was insensitive or unprofessional. On X, fans were divided, with some defending Brosnan's decision to walk off, arguing that he deserved respect as a veteran actor. "Jimmy pushed him too far," one user wrote. "Pierce was there to talk about his movie, not to be a punchline." Others felt Brosnan's reaction was disproportionate, pointing out that Fallon's teasing was par for the course on late-night TV. "He needs to lighten up," another user commented. "It's the Tonight Show, not a Shakespearean drama." Mirren, for her part, handled the situation with grace, continuing the interview solo and even joking about Brosnan's spice intolerance to ease the tension. Her ability to keep the segment afloat earned her praise, with many calling her the true star of the night. Behind the scenes, sources close to the show claimed that Brosnan's walkout was not planned and caught the production team by surprise. Some speculated that he may have been dealing with personal issues, though no evidence supported this claim. Others suggested that the salsa incident was merely a trigger for deeper frustrations, perhaps related to the pressure of promoting two projects, The Thursday Murder Club and Mobland, or discomfort with the late-night format. Brosnan himself remained silent on the matter, declining to comment when approached by reporters. Fallon, in a later episode, made a vague reference to the incident, joking, "We learned our lesson and no more spicy salsa for 007. The attempt at humor did little to quell the speculation, and the story continued to dominate entertainment news. The Thursday Murder Club, meanwhile, benefited from the unexpected publicity, with many noting that the controversy had put the film on the radar of viewers who might not have otherwise paid attention. As the dust settled, the Pierce Brosnan Jimmy Fallon confrontation became a case study in the unpredictability of live television. The Tonight Show, with its massive viewership and cultural influence, is no stranger to viral moments, but this one stood out for its raw, unscripted nature. Analysts pointed out that the incident highlighted the delicate balance hosts like Fallon must strike between entertaining their audience and respecting their guests. Fallon's style, while beloved by many, can sometimes come across as overbearing, particularly when a guest isn't in the mood for his high-energy antics. For Brosnan, the salsa segment may have felt like a trivialization of his work, especially given his storied career and the serious nature of his latest projects. The Thursday Murder Club, set to premiere on Netflix on August 28, 2025, was a passion project for both Brosnan and Mirren, and the focus on a comedic bit may have felt like a missed opportunity to discuss it meaningfully. The incident also sparked broader conversations about the expectations placed on celebrities in promotional settings. Are they obligated to play along with every gag, or do they have the right to push back when they feel uncomfortable? Brosnan's walkout, whether impulsive or calculated, sent a message that he wasn't willing to be the butt of a joke. Some praised his authenticity, while others criticized him for not trolling with the punches. The controversy also shed light on the role of social media in amplifying such moments, with ex-users turning the incident into a meme-fueled spectacle. Hashtags like #SalsaGate and #BrosnanWalkout trended for days, and edited clips of Brosnan's coughing and exit were set to dramatic music for comedic effect. The Tonight Show team, for their part, moved quickly to control the narrative, emphasizing the light-hearted intent of this segment and praising Mirren's professionalism. Fallon himself avoided addressing the incident directly, likely to avoid further inflaming the situation. As for Brosnan, his silence only added to his mystique, with some fans arguing that his exit was the most Bond-like thing he could have done. The incident, while uncomfortable, ensured that the Thursday Murder Club gained significant buzz, proving that even negative publicity can have a silver lining. Ultimately, the confrontation was a reminder that even in the polished world of late-night TV, human emotions can take center stage, creating moments that are as compelling as they are unexpected.